So we will see now if it comes up as a stream.
Right.
Make sure it updates here on the phone. And hopefully it's good. All right, it shows it on my phone that we're live, so.
Okay, yeah, it shows it on my computer.
All right, perfect. Just going through the ad here at the beginning.
Okay.
All right, there we are. Yeah, we're live. We can see it. All right. So we'll just give a couple minutes, let people get in.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. I do want to give a shout out before people get in here that it was pretty sweet that MMAT News shared our stream tonight. So I do want to say thank you to MMAT News for sharing the live stream.
Yes, thank you.
There we go. We got people rolling in. All right. All right. What's up, Bezos? Wancho? J Bridge, welcome. Buy the dip, bird the dip.
Bird the dip.
All right. Man, we already got 25 people. We're jumping up in people pretty quickly.
All right.
All right. Go ahead and put you as a moderator on the channel here. Wancho, where's the shorts? All right. All right, guys. So people's coming in here. Fuzzy Monkey, bird to dip. Love it. I'll let you interact with some of the comments coming in.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see here what we have. All right, bird the dip. I want Carrisdale fried.
Hey.
Okay. Zoaza's here. Zoza, I know Zoza. They're from Korea.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Uncle Smokey's here. Hello.
Uncle Smokey, man. Loved your video last night, brother. Did you watch Uncle Smokey's video last night, Roller?
No, I saw the first 3 minutes of it, but I haven't seen any more. So
you need to, when you have free time. He was very emotional in that video, and I love it. I love the emotion that he had in the video. Let's put it that way. Smokey was pouring his heart out in that video last night.
All right, can't wait. I will watch it. Maybe after this I'll watch it. Terry, it says your best friend here is J Powell.
Yeah, Wancho, buddy of mine was picking on me because Jerome Powell, he's hopefully now saving the small caps. Maybe the market now, as you saw, had a little rally this afternoon.
Yes.
I think as we saw, poor Carrisdale. Well, you know what? Screw Carrisdale. They shorted MMAT, and now we're up. So they're already down that short position. And I'm hoping that we get this small cap, mid cap Santa Claus rally leading into the new year in the January, February. And I tell you what, Carrisdale is in for some major, major problems, man. They picked the wrong time to short a certain company at this time of the year. They picked a really bad time to put out that short report.
Well, it says their goal was what 25 cents in there. It said that they thought it was worth 25 cents.
Yes, yes.
I guess good luck getting it that low.
Well, if it goes to 25 cents, I'll be selling the shirt off my back to buy some more shit. You'll be selling the bird costume to get more.
I would actually, yeah. 25 cents, yeah. I'd be selling some stuff.
Yes.
I'd be selling some. Although I don't have that much scrap metal. I guess I'd find something to sell.
Yeah. Trying to wedge his phone up here.
Ooh. I do not have any price targets for the Santa Claus rally. Terry, do you have any price targets for the Santa Claus rally?
Currently right now, I don't have a price target. And the only reason is that I think we're going to see a little bit of a rally. I mean, if we can get to maybe, let's say 350 at the end of the year, I think would be a good place. Because you got to still remember, these stocks were slow bleeding for months and months and months. We don't want to see our stocks just go parabolic in like a week. Because what happens if we go parabolic? It just, drains the whole way back down. I want to see like a healthy, like 1% to 3% gains weekly. And I want that, and I want that to slowly build its way up. Now, I think if we get phenomenal news on the dividend, that for me is there's a lot of clouds over this with the dividend because, as we know, I mean, we could get cash, we can get cash and spin-off shares. I mean, I sent you that article last night about the ConocoPhillips, and they got that trifecta kind of dividend situation. So
yeah.
I'll be curious for you to put out a video on your take on that whole situation and how that can apply to possibly us with Oilco if that happens, if ConocoPhillips, because the article was in the Permian Basin, so it was kind of interesting.
Right. Let me just write it down. ConocoPhillips.
Yeah, it was right on their website. ConocoPhillips. They had the two recent articles, and they talked about the Permian Basin purchase. Jay Bridge here said, "I'll dress as Santa and march like a soldier if we hit $10 by Christmas."
There you go. It'll be a good Christmas.
All right, so we got Pre here saying he's down 38%. Ouch. No stop loss. Boss holder adding more on payday. That's what I'm talking about. Now, here's what I want to put out here to all of the MetaMaterials shareholders. Trust me, guys, we're all down. There's not a single person that owns stock in MetaMaterials that is probably green right now. Let's put it that way. We're all in the red. There's every single one of us is down in our position. And we're probably down 20, 30, 40%. I'm right in that same category. I'm like 30, 35% down. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not letting this go. It's like I said, the company didn't do anything wrong. It's just the market crazy. I mean, it ain't like it's just that MetaMaterials was bleeding down for months and months. The whole Russell 2000 was bleeding for months and months and months.
Yeah, small caps have been hit pretty hard lately.
So I wanted to throw this out here for a question. What are some other stocks that you're interested in other than maybe MetaMaterials? Other ones that's on your watch list?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really like, so I have a couple, right now. I have, some of these are OTC, of course. I have the dividend, of course, the MMTLP. And then there is, a stock called DRCR, that's Deer Cashmere Holdings. And it's so you have ILUS, ILUS, you're familiar with ILUS, and then they have different branches that they get the revenue upstream from. One of them is DRCR, which is pretty low float. And they just got their gambling license, and they're launching an app sometime in the next 2 weeks here for sports betting.
Oh, nice.
Sports betting. So that's one. It's pretty low float, so we'll see how it goes. If it goes to 3, or I'll be very happy. If it goes 250, I'll be pretty happy. If it goes 3, great, but it's low float. And I got it from the CEO of ILUS, actually, because they have like 1 million videos on their YouTube, and it was like the most recent video. And he talked about like how ILUS had this big old market cap, and he's like, well, if you want a small market cap, if you want something with a low float and small market cap, go to this stock. Nice. And I'm like, thank you. So we have that, and then, well, ILUS has a $34 million possible deal coming up here with firefighters in Asia, and they just got one of their under their umbrella group companies got a contract with some hose manufacturer in Houston.
Yes.
Fire hose, yeah.
It was the nozzle, wasn't it? It was this
Yeah, you're right.
proprietary
It was
nozzle. The nozzle.
You're right. It's the nozzle. You're on it. You're on it, Terry. And then I also like CEI. CEI, I think is a great buy. If you bought it earlier, if you bought the dip, you got like a pretty good gain. So it was at $1, and then it went to $1.09. So that's pretty good. That they were waiting for the filings to get caught up. So the CEO's trying to catch up on the filings. He was waiting on the SEC to approve something, so he didn't have to amend it. And then he can submit all the filings. So that's on my watch list right now. Yeah, what's on your watch list, Terry?
There's so many on my watch list, but I'm just don't have the extra cash. Because as the channel says, as the channel is buy the dip. And as you know, this market bleed started back. The market's been bleeding for I don't know how long now.
Since I say October about.
Yeah. And I was buying those initial dips when it'd go down 5%, when it'd go down 10%. I'd buy up those dips. Well, as they say, you buy the dip, but the dip keeps dipping. And you keep buying those dips. And I didn't expect this to go the market to go this low. I really did not. But a lot of stocks that I have on my watch list, I just don't have the extra cash. Of course, was Palantir, DraftKings, SOFI. I did grab $100 worth of SOFI today. I think that's going to be one that's going to... my buddy actually Wancho in there. He's a big SOFI bull. SOFI is going to benefit huge here from the interest hikes next year. I think they said they're going to do 3 interest hikes. Now, SOFI is trying to get that charter bank deal. If SOFI gets the charter bank deal, that's going to be huge. They're already rolling out kind of their, payments and student loans and all this stuff and credit cards, and SOFI offers it all. So SOFI could be one of those ones you buy a little bit and just stash it away and just keep forgetting about it, because the next couple of years for SOFI is going to be big. One that I talked about here on the channel a good bit, I think is still a sleeper. I think it's still a huge undervalue play, and it's Genius Brands. I am just ticker symbol JGNUS. It's a children's media company.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Okay.
This is the one that had the big squeeze a while back. It shot up to like $11 and it backed down to $1 or something right now. So the company had a lot of drama to go through because it was a big pump and dump. They had this big news to come out, and everyone thought it was going to be a Marvel deal. Well, here the Marvel deal was the likeness of Stan Lee, but it wasn't actually with Marvel. So they bought everything like Stan Lee after Marvel. Disney bought Marvel. But now Genius Brands has been working with Disney because Disney wants to get that Stan Lee licensing. So they've also, if you look at Genius Brands revenues, their last 2 revenues reports have been blowing it out of the water. It's kind of like a Netflix without a paid subscription. So they're making money off the advertisements during their, live streaming.
Sure.
Kind of like how YouTube is. You can watch YouTube videos for free, but you may get an ad or 2 as you watch the videos. That's kind of what Genius Brands has said, and I really like the mission. The CEO, Andy Hayward, says that he doesn't want, and I applaud him for this, I do not want to charge families for their children to watch cartoons. So I commend him for finding a way that he has enough advertisements to make that happen. They've been making a lot of acquisitions as of late. I've been loading up in this one pretty heavy for about 1.5 years now. And I've been buying these long call options. I've been just loading up on Genius Brands. It's one that I think is they just had the Arnold Schwarzenegger cartoon come out, Superhero Kindergarten. And next year they have the Shaq's Garage coming out with Shaquille O'Neal. And he has a bunch of his celebrity friends on that. So it's going to be huge.
Whoa. And these is this a cartoon? Like Shaq's Garage is a cartoon?
Yes. It's kind of going to be like car themed in a sense.
Okay. So I don't know how old you are, Terry, but So the dancer and singer MC Hammer.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had his own cartoon series. I don't know if you remember like the MC Hammer cartoon series.
I vaguely remember it.
And he had like the parachute pants, but he had like save the day with his magic shoes on, and he would dance to save the day. So that's what it sort of reminds me of.
Someone said I'm 28. I've already talked about how old I am here on the channel because I actually did a video on the birthday. This past July, I just turned a big 40.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm 40
then.
and a half, about 40 and a half right now.
Right on.
So I'm all but there. So now we talked about some other stocks. I think there's enough people in here now. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about metamaterials.
Okay.
All right. So I watched your video today about the Kerrisdale. I must say I was cracking up that you were pointing out their grammar issues.
Oh.
I was laughing at that. So I'd like you to maybe just talk to the viewers here how you were kind of pinpointing out the grammar. I'm not the most English savvy person myself, but I'm not working at a, I guess, $1 or $1 billion short report company. So I'm not, you know, if you're going to put out a short report, I think you want it to be worded correctly in grammar, you know, just so it makes sense to the big dollars that's possibly going to participate in your short report.
For sure. Yeah. So yeah, this is a big multi-million-dollar company that shorts, you know, stocks. They take up really large positions and then they'll put out these reports and then the stock dumps. For as much digging as they do in the company's pasts, because they'll try and find anything, you know, if it was like, say your company's a spinoff of something else that happened 20 years ago, they'll find something bad that happened 20 years ago and they'll talk about it. And it's like, that's like, you know, 5 CEOs ago and, you know, we've long, but it happened once, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it says like in the first paragraph of all the reports, you know, we have short Meta shares, we have short CEI shares, and they're in all of their paragraphs, save for a few, their tenses are all over the place. They do have some pretty good zingers in there, and a lot of tongue in cheek, like, you know, a photonics company that's all smoke and mirrors or something. They said, you know, if we're being so tongue in cheek, but then like whoever writes the nitty gritty is the verb tenses are all over the place. And usually when you put out reports like these or a prospectus, you don't use contractions.
Yeah.
And they, you know, in their subheaders, they have contractions, and it sounds like a 16-year-old me wrote it.
Yeah. I heard you say they paid some high schooler to write this report.
Right, because it sounds like it. I'm like, well, it sounds like a 16-year-old me wrote it, so maybe they do pay a high schooler to write a lot of this report. Like, hey kid, you wanna make $5, or what is it going to write for a kid now? $10?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. They probably got it off of like what's those like is it like a Fiverr or something you can get on, and you can hire like someone to write up reports for you, and they do all different stuff. You could pay them $20-$30 to write you something up.
You're probably right. Yeah. So yeah, they put this out, and I mean, I've read them before. Like I said, the CEI, they had that. So this came out. I'm like, oh boy, and I just started laughing, and so I found it a good way to call out this company. You know, if you're gonna make these millions of dollars, but you're gonna write this 12-page grammar abomination.
Yeah. We got a good point in here from one of the viewers. Rich says, the shorts are obviously desperate. Posting this prior to the divvy announcement. That's what I'm saying is like, why? I don't even understand the logic. I mean, first of all, they had to realize that Jerome Powell was speaking today. That a lot of the fear has been already priced in to these stocks being beat down as far as they've been beaten down. Right. So they were hoping, I guess, to gamble that he was going to come out even more hawkish, that said, we're going to make it worse than what we're already expecting. But he announced what the market's already priced in. in a sense. So the market didn't really even react. If anything, the market rallied off of him.
I saw rally.
I mean, the market basically rallied on him confirming what they already know. So they got what next year is supposed to be. So I think, I think we're going to see some good times here for all stocks in the small cap. I honestly believe from George's last tweet where he had Mr. T biting the apple and he had the hashtag TikTok. I don't think he actually mean TikTok as in the app TikTok.
No, I don't think he meant TikTok either. As in the
I think
app.
he meant TikTok as in the time is ticking. Something's coming soon. You know what I mean? Like TikTok.
Right.
So.
Definitely. No, I agree there. Yeah, he meant like, TikTok, your time's coming. And that could be a reference to the Department of Justice, the DOI and everything. Maybe that's referenced there as the DOI, or DOJ, sorry, DOJ, not DOI.
Yeah.
Department of the Interior, the Parks Department. The DOJ, is cracking down more on these heavy short positions.
I'll let you read Smokey's comment if you see it there.
Okay, I'm sending my review on the entire situation to different senators and people of power. I'm writing it up and I'm putting a very long tweet so the public sees it. Good job, Smokey. All right. Hopefully the senators read it. Good job.
Love it, Smokey, man. We brother, you're part of the family too. I mean, we got me, Pigeon, Smokey, Sterling, Allie. I mean, we have been, there's other YouTubers out there as well, and I do comment. I try to comment on most of the metamaterials YouTubers because it is hard being, I guess you would say, maybe not really the face of a stock, but someone that's still trying to tell investors that this is a good company when the stock is just bleeding red for like 2 months straight. That's hard to do. And you'll see, I've noticed in my comment section from people that followed me back a while, over these last few months with the stock going down, their comments have went from positive to kind of somewhat negative because they are down a lot of percent. And I understand. Like I said, I'm down like 35%. I'm in like the fours. So we got a ways to go to get back to the fours right now from where we're at. So, I mean, I'm currently down. I was buying MMTLP and I was buying the January 21st options. So I was buying the regular MMAT options for January, thinking that we were going to get the divvy announcement on December 28th. But now we know that's not really going to happen from what that press release said.
Right, but we still should be getting a drilling update by the 31st, though. We should be getting that lease agreement update by the 31st.
So I'm kind of on those options contracts. Like, I'm holding out until I hear something about the divvy. Because
but yours...
I'm just thinking, like, if the divvy's good news, it's going to, in return, just make metamaterial stock go to the moon.
Yeah, eventually, in return, definitely. If it's cash divvy, that'll happen much quicker. But yeah, it'll definitely make. And then the news about it too. I think a lot of this is going to ride on that dividend being pretty sweet, And George did say he hopes that people will take the money from the dividend and reinvest it into metamaterials.
Yes.
And a lot of people seem to be using that fact too because Meta's down so much right now. All right, J-Bridge, let's go MetaFam.
Yes, thank you, J-Bridge, man. We appreciate it, buddy. Let's see here. Yeah, pre says he's down 38%. I'm right there with you. I think I'm like 35% down currently on metamaterials. So, I mean, I'm right, like I said, guys, I'm right there with you. There ain't a single person out there who can say they're positive on their MMAT position right now, unless if you sold and bought like yesterday and then have it today. Unless you bought yesterday for the first time and you have it today, that's probably the only people that's still positive in metamaterials.
For sure.
Or any small cap stock, to say the least.
Right. So speaking of SOFI or SOFI, however you want to pronounce
SOFI,
it. Yeah, SOFI. So it's The football.
Yes.
The superb owl. You know, some people call it the Super Bowl, but it's also can't be pronounced the superb owl. The superb owl will be at the SoFi Stadium.
Yes.
And the superb owl is sponsored by SoFi, so it's going to be a 4-hour SoFi advertising extravaganza. So I think now is a good time to get into SoFi because as the Super Bowl inches closer, it's going to go. That's all people are going to see is SoFi.
And anytime I believe it's the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers Stadium, I believe. I think that's who it is. Someone will correct me. Okay. I think it's the I think it's, or is it the LA Rams? Is it the LA Rams Stadium? Is it the Rams or the Rams? I can't remember. All these teams are switching around, but even if their games are on like a Monday Night Football or on Sunday, you get great shots of the SoFi Stadium. It is truly like a beautiful stadium. It really is. Any published
superb owl. Yeah, superb owl, like Super Bowl, but you just moved the B over. Yeah, the superb owl.
SoFi 1550 good entry. In my opinion, yes. And I'm gonna say, just be careful here. We had a little bit of a rally. Now we're gonna see these next few weeks to these next months. You're gonna see ups and downs. But SoFi is one of these plays. If you're buying at 1550 and you hold this for 6 months to a year out, and you're easily, in my opinion, I don't see this how it's not over, honestly, $23 to $25. And from like, if you're holding this stock today, and you would hold it up through December 15th of next year, 2022, I could almost guarantee, well, I'm not going to guarantee, but I could almost 99.9% say that SoFi will touch $23. And I think that's probably honestly a low price target, because if they get that bank charter, we already know we're getting interest rate hikes. They're going to profit majorly from those interest.
For sure.
So if it's costing you 5% to get an interest rate, now they can bump you up to 7%. So they're making more interest off of their users. And that's what the Fed's doing. So it's going to help I think banks are going to rally pretty good next year, probably in the later half of the year when all this comes into effect.
Sure. 25 would be killer. Let's go. I remember buying Torchlight at 40 cents. All right. Chris Collins, he bought it 40 cents. Right on. Been holding MAT since this time last year. $1.70 still holding. Cannot wait for the climb. All right. Trip revoked. Been holding for a year.
Nice.
Okay. So, yeah. All right. So MMTLP, how can it be legit? Well, I explained this quite a bit in my videos. So what happened was you had the options that had preferred shares attached to them. So when the options started trading in June, like a few days before the merger, the options rolled out. And thus any Torchlight options, when the preferred shares were released, Torchlight went bye-bye the preferred, and we're supposed to change into the preferred shares. The options didn't. Instead, that became MMAT, transferred over. But it had those preferred shares attached to them. And it was because of that. That was actually the illegal ones, believe it or not. That was the illegal ones. And I go through like a whole video series describing why it was illegal. So you had this trading on the NASDAQ, and according, to the prospectus, it wasn't supposed to trade on an exchange. And here's the thing, the OTC is not an exchange. It's not an exchange. What happened was you had a big brokerage or some sort of holdings company or somebody who had a lot of these preferred shares, and they were just sitting around. And they were like, okay, well, I'm going to manage my portfolio now. This isn't really doing anything. It has no value or anything attached. I'm going to sell it. So they called their other friend. They're like, hey, you want to buy these things? Yeah, sure, I'm going to buy these things. Okay, let me arrange it. And then they arrange it with the market maker. And the market maker is the person who brings them to market and facilitates that market. Hence, they're called market makers. But because it happened, they had to file a filing with FINRA for it. And then FINRA wound up approving it on the OTC. Now, did they approve it on the OTC because it was trading on the NASDAQ? That's the big question. You know, it was already trading through the options on the NASDAQ. But FINRA approved it, and thus it was able to trade on the OTC. But OTC, again, is not a market, and you can't make options on the OTC with OTC stocks. So once those options, like Terry has options for January, once those expire, then things can move quickly with MMTLP. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Rich down here has, does anyone know how many preferred shares they had to trade with the new exchange? Volume looked less than 1 million every day. We don't know how many shares initially was on the exchange.
Right.
But I think there was 165 million preferred shares in total.
You're correct. Yeah, there's about 165 million shares in total. So yeah, the only person who would know is if you were right there and you saw the first transaction, you know, then you were aware, oh, okay, here you go. But yeah, that first exchange, I couldn't tell you.
We got
all right, Jim Edwards.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Says, holding my divvy in one hand and a box of popcorn in the other. My man. My man. I did want to bring up a valid point. When you were talking, it kind of got the brain working, and I'm sitting here thinking, let's think about this. Someone that had a boatload of these preferred shares wanted to get them off the books for a certain reason. Yes. Somebody wanted to get them off the books. Now, I don't know why or who, but I'm thinking, remember back to the Dr. Pepper situation?
Yeah.
When I did that video, they announced that $125 divvy. They were saying how it was a bad investment if you were buying into the divvy because of the tax purposes.
Yeah,
So do you think if people had these preferred shares, maybe someone that had a boatload of shares don't want the tax, maybe the tax purpose part, if they announce a cash divvy and they have to pay taxes on it, maybe this person that has a boatload of shares just would rather unload it because it's the end of the year, and hopefully maybe they're hoping people buy them up so they have less on the books to do for taxes for next year.
I think you're right, Tara. I think you're right. Yeah, if people buy the shares cheaper, I think you're absolutely right. That's a much lower tax rate than if they got a cash divvy. They're like, well, if this is going to pay out by the end of the year, yeah, like Dr. Pepper, I don't want a giant cash divvy looming around. I got to pay all these taxes now.
Yeah, because I think the breakdown of that article was like, it was the $125 divvy, but you were only going to get like $90-some after you.
Actually, so it's a bit different. So how it worked out. Actually, the tax rate was less than.
Oh, was it?
So yeah, that's okay. It's confusing. So yeah, it was about 125. Or it was $103 divvy.
That's what it was. The 103.
The stock was 125. Your new share and the company opened at 25. Because of the difference, you were only taxed on $28. That wasn't the rate that's how much you were taxed. So take 15% of 28.
Okay.
Dollars. You know, times 0.15, and that's how much tax you owed per share.
Okay.
Which is, but a lot of people, don't realize that when you have the cash, the Dr. Pepper situation, you got the new stock, but they subtracted basically the drop more or less in price.
Yeah.
For this particular tax situation. So yeah, you were taxed like $4.20.
Gotcha. Now we got a good point here, and I do want to. I want to address this point. Our buddy Rich here says, "Why would you sell for $1.50 if you can get 20? I would pay the taxes." Now I do agree with that for probably people like you and me.
Right.
But when you're talking a huge corporation that has millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of shares, it's a whole different ballgame. They get taxed on a different percentage than we do.
For sure.
Their capital gains is going to probably be 35, 40%, if not higher, because we know Biden was going after the wealthy individuals for the capital gains tax.
Right. So if when people ask that, I always cite the movie Slapshot. I don't know if you've ever seen the Paul Newman movie Slapshot. It's about hockey. Okay, so it's about this. It's a Paul Newman movie, and it was from like I think 1981, and it's about this ragtag hockey team, and they go from being losers to like really good, and they revamp the team, and they're doing great. And Paul Newman goes to the owner's house, and he needs money or something, and he goes to the lady, and she's like, "Oh, I'm dissolving the team." And he's like, "What do you mean? The team's doing awesome. Look how much money we're making now." She's like, "That's the point. I make, because it's making too much money. I'm in the next tax bracket now.
Yeah.
And it costs me more money in taxes now because this team's profitable. I made more money when the team was losing." And of course, Paul Newman gets mad, and he's like, "Well," and she says, "Well, that's finance."
Yeah.
And so I like to cite, the movie Slapshot, or the movie The Producers. They did it twice, but the first one with Gene Wilder, how they got all these checks from this rich lady. They were moonlighting this lady to get the checks, and they're like, "Well, if we make a flop, Springtime for Hitler, that nobody wants to see, we can take the tax write-off and make more money." But then it winds up becoming a great success, and they have to owe all these taxes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Hanson Brothers. Robert knows the Hanson Brothers. They were three brothers who beat everybody up, and they had glasses. It was great.
So let's see.
I agree. Slapshot is a great movie. It's a classic. If you like hockey movies, I think Slapshot's the one.
Do we know on George's StockTwits post? That's the one he's going to do the donation on, right? Is it that one, or is he going back to the original Torch to Shorts post for that?
Okay, no, it's on StockTwits. So if you search on StockTwits, Gaylord Stalker.
Yeah, I think I put it on. I think I put it on my Twitter actually. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
George will donate $1,000 to Red Cross for every like it gets. As of this morning, it was up to 270, but I'm not sure what the like count is right now.
Let me see. I think I can. I just have to hop off the.
Okay, well, I can check it here on the Chromebook.
Okay, I'll let you do that, so I'll keep us back up.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna. Hopefully, it won't be too slow, bogged down. Let's see here.
And I tell you what, because when I was watching your 4 parts, as you're researching that, I was watching your 4-part series on the history of the Torch and Meta, and one of your points in there was that George did that post about Torch to Shorts.
Yes.
And it was never addressed ever again.
No, it wasn't. I talked about it. I was like, it was never addressed.
And here comes this post on StockTwits, and it's like, oh my God, George acknowledged this post. But it's like, I think George, I don't know if George was maybe a little offended, because
it sounded vindictive.
He's like, how can you say that, but it's like.
But if you never follow it up, and it was conveniently timed with the offer and the stock going up, it was so conveniently timed that it, unless you don't follow up, it seems rather.
Yeah, because all he had to do, well, I mean, like I said, I got George back here, and George we trust. I just think all George needed to do was just do a post, say, hey, look, the materials, we can't get them right now because of COVID. Update, I'll get back at you later. It was just like silence.
Right, yeah.
But I understand, George has a lot going on. They're trying to make the partnerships work. George has stated to us that most of his net worth is in metamaterial stock.
Yes.
So that is very reassuring as a shareholder to hear the CEO say that most of his money, his net worth, is in MMAT stock.
Right. Okay. It got up to. Okay, finally got it. I had to scroll through poor Gaylord Stalker's timeline. Poor guy. He's being attacked. Now he's being attacked by people. So people are, for some reason, getting upset at him. But there was silence, like you said, and it seemed. George does seem a little bit vindictive in this, I think. But if you're silent and you never tell anybody, how are we supposed to know? So he's up to 325 likes.
Wow.
So that's $325,000.
Yeah, that'll help out a lot.
For sure.
I think that definitely made me feel. I mean, I always knew George had his best interest at heart. Yeah, no, I was like, I don't got the bird suit. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody's asking, where's your bird suit?
Yeah. I mean, people always ask, like, how can you still trust George? He ain't did this, he ain't did that. I'm like, there's reasons behind it. Like, there's reasons.
Yeah, so like with oil, a lot of people don't realize how hush oil is. And I cite this in the Shell ConocoPhillips deal. So that was announced in September. And they listed it in April, and the deal was announced in September. ConocoPhillips started control of the asset. They took control in July, right?
Yeah.
And here comes August, late August, and mid-August, and media companies are digging around furiously through records like we are, but they're like, oh well, these companies are still speculating, Devon's still speculating, Chevron's still speculating, but no, ConocoPhillips had it. It's very hush hush. And the people who didn't get it, Chevron, Devon, they didn't say anything. And then it was announced, of course. Oh, and then, Terry, they had their annual meeting.
Yeah.
And nothing was said about it. Nothing in Shell was said about it. And then September 15th comes around and it's like, okay, ConocoPhillips is buying the asset and it's $9.5 billion.
Yeah. We got a comment here from our buddy Wazir. It says, sometimes it's best not to say anything and let it unfold. I do agree. In business, sometimes you just ain't got time to deal with every response, but focus more on building the business. Amen. Well, I do agree with that. But there was a lot of, I don't know, when a stock's getting bleeded out, you need any kind of reassurance.
Right.
Other than us YouTubers out here posting daily videos trying to keep our viewers. Like I said, we can't tell anyone whether to buy or to sell.
Right.
I can tell the viewers if I'm going to buy, if I'm going to sell, or what I'm going to do. I can tell them what my plan is, but it's up to them to make their decisions. Like I said, my mind hasn't changed at all with the stock, even though, yes, we're down huge right now. But I believe we're on this turn in the market. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. I say we touch base on this. Like I said, let's see where the stock is after the dividends announced. Let's say January, February. Let's see where the stock ends up. Then we'll come back and do a whole nother revisit.
For sure. Thank you, Hal.
Thank you, Hal. Appreciate it. Wreck. Love the emoji there, man.
Thank you, Hal. Yeah, we need to see the updated building. So I looked at the building on Google Maps and it said, it said Lockheed Martin, so I'm not sure if Meta's going to be in there or somewhere else.
Yeah.
But the one building said Lockheed Martin. We'll see where Meta is.
Yeah, I'm just keeping, like I said, I'm keeping fingers crossed. I have this on the TV, every MetaMaterials video, because I believe George, man. I'm in George we trust. In George we trust. I'm putting my faith after hearing what he's presented. Now, he's not presenting it all the time, but what I've heard him present, I'm holding it. I'm taking it, and I'm holding out what he says. And I'm going to wait till the dividends announced and see if they take care of us on the divvy.
Exactly. Thank you, Spider. I know this is an MMTLP live stream, but do you think GGPI is going to run soon? I do not know GGPI.
I can definitely speak on GGPI.
Okay.
I made some videos on GGPI. I do own some shares in GGPI, and what GGPI is currently a SPAC, and it's merging with Polestar, EV vehicle maker.
Okay.
Now, here's the big difference between Polestar and, let's say, Lucid, and let's say how Polestar is different from Rivian. Okay. So as you know, Lucid had all the drama. Started out. Lucid ran up to $60. The valuation came out. It came the whole way back down to $18, $19. Then it laid flat. I was actually a Lucid shareholder. Well, CCIV shareholder. I went through the whole run up. I went through the whole dip. I rebought the dip. I held that stock for months. It didn't do anything. And this is why I'm saying, man, if you believe in a play, don't sell it because the stock's not moving. Hey,
Exactly.
Meta67, thank you. Here's my story on that. Had an average cost at like $20 on CCIV. Stock ran up to $60. I was no longer a shareholder because I got impatient and sold out.
Right.
Lost out on 200% gains on that play. Yeah, and that hurt. That hurt. Now, the reason I kind of lost my belief in Lucid, and I'm going to tell you why. That stock, they wasn't producing any cars. There wasn't no information about them having to build the factories and this and that.
Okay.
But here's the difference with GGPI and Polestar. They're already building cars. They already have factories. They're already producing cars. They're going to produce 29,000 EV cars this year. And like different countries. So it's going to be here in the US, Europe, it's going to be all different countries. This company is partnered up with Volvo, which is pretty huge, and Geely. So it's going to be it's like under $12 right now in the spec. There's a lot of great articles on GGPI. Definitely go do your DD on it. I'm super bullish on GGPI. I put out GGPI videos on the channel because I'm not making that mistake. I'm holding that stock. I am buying more of those shares. This stock can lay here $11, $12 because I know it's going to run. I'm not missing out on this one. I'm not missing out.
Patience.
Yes, patience. Yes.
Right. Oil is real, of course. Nobody. I like to tell people when they want to be a bear, nobody wants moldy old oil.
And that's crazy. I remember it wasn't long ago the oil was basically zero.
Yeah. Right. So oil. I mean, during COVID, it fell to what 20-something a barrel, and at that point, yeah, it's zero because it costs more. If the average cost of goods sold is 25 per barrel.
Yeah.
Up and through, it could change 2023 a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But if the average cost is $25 a barrel and oil is like 23, then nobody's going to produce because you're going to hemorrhage money at that point.
Yeah.
Well, 131 a while ago, but that's it. Plus MMAT divvy shares at Hunter. Right on. You're buying up those shares. It's OD Green Trader. Hello. Patience is a virtue. But here's what people like to say. People like to say the Warren Buffett quote, time in the market beats timing the market. But I like to say, like, I don't have the immortality code that Warren Buffett has. He has the immortality code.
Yes.
He can, of course he can wait. He's like Keith Richards.
Matthew says he's here for the party.
Exactly.
Couldn't do any Mad Dog tonight. It is a work night, so got to go to work tomorrow. I don't want to have any sips of Mad Dog going to work tomorrow.
There you go. Okay, so how it worked, IH, you got 1 MMTLP share for every Torchlight you had.
Correct.
They weren't originally called MMTLP. They were called like Torchlight Preferred or MMAT1 shares, depending on your brokerage.
Yes.
Buffett does have money, and when you have money, you can make more money.
Smokey.
Keith Richard, he died years ago. What? Then what's keeping him alive? It's like Weekend at Bernie's now, but it's Keith Richard, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, if this dividend, I guess we could talk about it here on the stream. Are you still holding your conviction at that $35 price point for the divvy?
I'm holding my conviction at this price. I'm holding my conviction at this price, be it cash or shares in the buying companies. By the way, holdings companies can be private. So if Oilco just becomes a private holdings companies, then you get your shares. Great. But I am pretty firm on my price. You know, if the oil definitely indeed is 3.7 billion barrels, I picked it at 3.1 on the average. That's how I got that 35, 44 at $70 a barrel. You know, oil went down a bit, but it's back up. Yeah, I'm still definitely bullish my conviction that hasn't really changed. Nothing in that has changed until we hear otherwise. I know some people are like dropping down their prices. I think they're just getting tired.
Yeah.
And they're willing to accept anything, but it's like if the oil is there, the oil really hasn't changed in amount of oil. You know, the price of oil fluctuated a bit, but it's going back up. You had OPEC, which first agreed, yeah, we'll produce an extra 400,000 barrels of oil a day. And then it just came out like OPEC was short a few million barrels this past couple of weeks, and they're like, oopsie, you know. So the price of oil, I think, will rally. Winter's coming.
Let's see.
Okay, how confident I am of the oil on the ground. Okay, so here's where a lot of people will try and FUD me too. The people who evaluated in the oil in the ground have very lucrative careers. One of the leading, well, so there are several geologists on this. One of the geologists was Lance Cook, who was one of the head or senior well engineers at Shell. He left Shell. He got old. He went to be an independent geologist, and then he was on it for Torchlight. And then, so he was on the Ore Grande, and he's now co-founder and president of Sage Geosystems. I know a lot of people are big into Sage, but there you go. And then there's Rich Masterson, who's probably one of the most in-demand geologists in the Permian. He's the guy who really brought forth all the hotness and the buzz to the Permian. Yeah, so he found extra shale plays within the Permian that, you know, made a lot of people a lot of money, and a lot more companies started flocking to the Permian because of him. He worked for Monsanto. He had a long career at Monsanto as their geologist. And then finally, there is Mike Mullen, who was one of the lead petrophysicists at Halliburton. And you don't make a long career at Halliburton if you're bad. If you're bad at petrophysics, you don't make a good career at Halliburton if you're bad. You know, they'll kick you out pretty quickly. Halliburton's a big top tier company.
I do have a comment here I wanted to read to you and get your opinion on. Okay. We got Duff Duck says the Ore Grande project is right beside the largest retrievable gallium in the United States. Now, I've had a few people send me stuff about the gallium. Now, I'm going to say I
can tell you about this gallium.
I'm going to let you do it. I'm not truly expertise in this gallium, but I know they're saying, can we have gallium on our land as well?
Yeah, so Texas, so Hudspeth County, where I'll draw Texas real quick. I'm a horrible Texan. I don't have enough Texas in my house. Let me draw a Texas. That panhandle's huge. Hold on. That's okay. There we go. Here's a Texas. All right, I live over here. Okay, I live basically in the middle.
Yeah.
Up here's Amarillo. You know, here's a Lubbock. Here's a Dallas. Here's a Houston, and San Antonio, Austin, El Paso. El Paso County. Hudspeth County's right here, next to El Paso. Ore Grande's up here by El Paso. Okay. It's like 30 minutes from El Paso. Round Top Mountain, where the gallium is right here. So it's actually about 140 miles as the crow flies. Now, is there gallium at Ore Grande? The answer could be a strong probably. Is it as much as this? I don't know. But there is evidence of gallium. So when you look for gallium, you're going to look for a mineral called rhyolite. Rhyolite will show you that there's evidence of gallium if you're a geologist. Basically, you're looking for rocks that will give you clues that something else is there. And it's, it's rare earth, so you're going to have trace in it. Sort of like when you mine silver, you have to look for a rock called galena, and it's really sparkly and black and sparkly, sort of like mica. Galena. You take out the galena, and then you have to go through this big process to extract the lead out of the galena, and what you're left with is a tiny bit of silver.
Okay.
Same thing, but a little bit more rare, and that's how you get the gallium.
Okay.
Round Top Mountain is interesting. So Round Top Mountain, the people who have the mineral rights are one person. The people who have the mining rights to this, I know all about this company. I had to do a big, long, like 30-page paper on them. It's the Navajo Reservation who runs the coal power plant north of the Grand Canyon. It's those same people. They had the extraction rights because it could be a bad, extracting rare minerals can be a not so environmentally friendly process, and the people who run that power plant have a long history of not being environmentally friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on they don't fall under EPA regulations because they're on tribal lands. So as a result, they're like, yeah, we'll refine all that gallium for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're gonna do. But there could be some evidence, of the gallium on the property. That's not out of the question. There are real lights, and it's sad because the rock that the gallium is in, if you read about the history of it, was used as ballast for railroad cars, and they just thought it was only worth ballast rock. And it's like, if you read about the history of it now.
Yeah. Another point I wanted to bring up. The banks are still saying that they're projecting like that $120 to $150 price per barrel next year, right?
Yes.
The bank, I think it was like Bank of America.
Yeah, it was
JP Morgan. Yeah.
JP Morgan, up to Bank of America said 125, and JP Morgan said 150 in a year.
So that's a huge increase. That's almost 100%. I mean, let's say 80%. Right. Well, let's say 70 to 90% increase from where we're at now. Right.
That's definitely one. And who was it? Somebody said, wish I had, my browser crashed.
You got a dig on you there from Smokey.
Oh, thank you, Smokey. I am a bad Texan, because I'm originally a Buckeye. Smokey's right. I'm a Buckeye. I was born and raised in Cleveland.
Oh, nice.
I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, so I am a bad Texan. Texas loves Texas. You need at least like 10 things of Texas in your house. I'm a bad Texan when it comes to that. I only have a few things.
There was a comment up here. It was Chris Collins said, instead of Santa Claus, he said Giorgio Claus.
Yeah, there you go, Giorgio Claus. I mean, I guess he just has to like wear a white beard, and there you go, red suit. He's kind of already...
It'd be great if he could even give us that drilling update like before Christmas.
Yeah, sometime by the end of the year, the drilling update, the CDC clause is met. Because they can't sell it or anything until that clause is met.
Yeah. I mean, in a roundabout way, I mean, if these banks are still predicting 125 to 150, I mean, the longer we wait, it could be better.
Also, if we're paid in stock in like, Exxon or Chevron, it's also going to work out because the stock prices have been going up. And all those companies are doing share buybacks. I did a video. I went to go see what oil companies are doing share buybacks, and the answer is all of them who are publicly traded and have Permian plays. They all are doing share buybacks right now. Okay, talk about brokerages lending people MMTLP shares. I don't know if you want to take that one, Terry.
I'll take a crack at it.
Sure.
I don't think the brokerages, now I'm just speculating on this because I'm not a part of the brokerage. I'm just going on my belief of what I think happened. Someone or some company went to the OTC, filed the paperwork, and they used John Berta's information to get it listed. And John Berta said, I have nothing to do with this. So that was already, they're using old Torchlight information to...
you're right.
Yeah, when that originally came up, when I started... I was sitting at
he
work.
said,
I was sitting at work, and I saw this whole MMTLP come out. I get on the OTC markets. I'm taking videos on my phone at work, showing all the information that's being showed on the OTC markets. And John Berta was on there, and I believe Smokey or Sterling sent a message to John Berta, and he confirmed that he had nothing to do with it.
Sterling.
But his
Yes,
name,
it was
Sterling, I think, and his name is on the document for the OTC market.
right.
So, because the
right,
OTC is not as regulated as the NASDAQ. So,
and it's not an exchange.
exactly.
Either,
They
so
just
that's
used old
violation.
paperwork to get these listed. And what happens is, as George stated before, MMTLP / the preferred share was held in street name, which means these MMTLPs was not legally signed to you. They were just in street name held to brokerage. So let's say Fidelity, everyone that had account of Fidelity had Fidelity had 50 million shares from all of their users that use Fidelity. Let's just say Fidelity had 50 million shares. It comes up on the OTC. Boom. Now it puts a price on it. People, as we said, people open up their brokerage after months and months and months go by, and they see 10 cents, they see 50 cents, they see $1. They're like, well, I'm going to sell it and take what I got. They just assume that that's my dividend. And what I think is, there is only, the views we get on YouTube can be anywhere from 1,000 to say 3,000 to 5,000 views a video. Maybe if you get 7, 8, that's nothing compared to the amount of investors that is buying up the 165 million We're not getting millions of views to equivalent how many shares is out there. We're covering probably not even 1% of the investor base.
Oh, for sure.
That originally had MMTLP. So they just saw money pop in their brokerage, so they sold it. Now that goes to the brokerage. So instead of saying it was sitting in my brokerage account, I saw it show up in my brokerage. I'm going to sell it, take the money. Now Fidelity holds it. Someone comes along like you, says, oh, I can buy MMTLP for $1. I'm going to buy it up.
Yes.
And that's how I think. I don't think the brokerages were lending people shares, but the brokerages were allowed to put a price on it because it became official through the OTC market. People saw that money, they just sold it. They just assumed that was the dividend.
Yeah, they assumed it was dividend.
Yep.
Oh, it's $2, okay.
Because I think a lot of people that was buying back in the torch probably either just closed their brokerages, forgot about their brokerages, took their money out, cashed out of the stock market. I mean, if you look on Google Trends, the stock market Google Trends is like down. I mean, it is down low. I mean, you look at, I looked at MMAT stock back when that Torchlight, it was like 100, max 100. And you could just see how right now it's down to like an 8 or a 10. It's down like super low. If not even a 5, I think it might have been the Google Trends on MMAT stock.
Right.
So I don't think, like I said, that the brokerages are lending out or letting people borrow the shares. I think they're just selling shares that they're holding.
Right. I agree. So, okay, Magnetic, how they do this is they take a block of your shares. Let's say you had 100 shares of MMTLP. Well, once you convert it to Oilco, that would be 151 shares. And then how they do it is, if Exxon is $60 a share, it'd be, so much percent of 100, be about out of that block of 100 shares, like 33 of them would equal 10 Exxon, essentially. So you get a block of shares converted like that. But, if it's multiple companies, it'll be very interested to see. The dividend could also be quickly timed. Like, this week, it could go like a series of weeks. Like this week you get Exxon stock. This week you get cash. This week, blah, 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 until all those shares go to zero, right? Because when you get the dividend, the share disappears. So, yeah, that's how it could work out.
I did see a comment earlier. Someone said, when is the best time to sell my preferred share? And my answer to that is never.
Same.
Never. Because
I would, yes.
I'm not selling it because what if they announce what it is maybe part of it. They're doing more work on the other part. And you're like, well, I'll get this first part of the divvy. Let me sell out, get what's left. But what if more comes out of the other parts and you're out of it?
Exactly.
I mean,
also,
I'm looking to just hold through. I'm not selling anything. I'm going to let it run its course until it just goes away. That's my plan. The viewers can do what they want. I'm not looking to sell it at all.
Right. Also, when it goes into Oilco, it might be a private thing, and then you can't sell it. Kind of like how the Torchlight preferred shares were originally supposed to be. So you might want to consider, you know, if you're going to sell your MMTLP, maybe do it before it goes into Oilco.
And I was actually, I think I said in one of my recent videos that for start of the new year, I actually wanted to start like a dividends only account. Just as like a little side thing, just throw like $100 a month in it. Maybe, you know, if I get a little extra cash, maybe $200 a month or something. And just start buying dividend stocks and just letting that compound, you know. Because I figured I'm 40. You know, I got another 22 years before you hit 62 to retire. If I just slowly let that dividends account build up, and if the preferred share would be a dividend, that would be great as well.
If the preferred share is stock in, you know, Exxon or Chevron or TPL, which pays dividends, then yeah, you can definitely start your dividend account that way too.
We got Magnetic saying, you guys should start doing video on special dividend opportunities.
Ooh, maybe I'll have to look into who's doing special dividends.
I just saw when I was searching through Business Wire, because I sent you that article on Conoco Phillips from Business Wire. I searched their website, and that's how I found a lot of my special dividend stocks, considering like what do I want to say? God, I'm trying to LAUR, which was I think the Laurel Education. That was the $7. That was the $7 special. We had JCS. I found that through Business Wire. That was the $3.50 special dividend. We had MIC, which was the $37 special dividend.
Woo.
Yeah, so that was 3 stocks I found. And there's another stock. It's actually delisting. So they're selling out the whole company and they're going off the stock market completely. So they're just going to pay out the dividend and then close it out.
Sure.
But it's not really a dividend because it is just going to go to zero. But
I
must say that's the first one I found on there that was actually a delisting article that they're voluntarily delisting.
Yeah, Carousel didn't talk at all about nanotech, which was interesting in their report.
I see Sean said, I've been buying the preferred shares on Fidelity. Same as me. I've been buying the preferred shares on Fidelity. I got my MMAT1 options on Fidelity, which is where you can buy the options contract. You can call up Fidelity and say, I want to exercise this options contract. Once you do that, you do got to pay the $250 to, because it's a $2.50 strike is the one I buy, the January 21st, 2022 MMAT1 options. So you pay the amount for the options contract, you pay the $250, you get your 50 shares of MMAT, and you get 100 shares of MMTLP.
Right.
I can vouch 100% Fidelity, it works. You buy it, you let it clear. Once it's cleared out the next day, you call them up, you can exercise it.
I agree. Okay, we're collaborate with Right Brain Trader. I've seen Right Brain Trader before.
Yes, I think I just watched his video and I left a comment for him on there because the reason I found the Right Brain Trader, I think Right Brain Trader, I think is what it was from the Facebook group. If you're on the Facebook group for MetaMaterials, they're rebuilding. I don't know if you heard about this story. Do you have
like the new Facebook group?
Yes. Did you hear what happened to the? Did you hear what happened to the old?
Yeah, I got taken over by hedge funds.
Yes, they hacked. Yeah, so the old one had like 5,000 or 8,000 people on it or something, and someone or a hedge fund, whoever, created a Facebook profile of one of the admins saying that their account was hacked. They got back into the group, and then they just started deleting all the admins. Then they started doing all these bearish posts.
Right.
It's like, what the heck is going on? Like, is it? So I don't know. So you know, the original mods got the new Facebook group. It's a great page. They do post everyone's video on there. William's great. I know there's a few other people on there. I'm just forgetting their names right now. I do talk to William. He's one of the main mods on there. But all the mods on the new page is great. We're trying to build that up. They share all the YouTubers' videos on there. And that's how I found the Right Brain Trainer. They shared his video on there, and I watched his video.
Okay, right on. I know Right Brain Trader, so he was on the Stock Twits board, like on the Torchlight days. There used to be a guy on the Torchlight Stock Twits board called Midland Texas Oil Guy, and he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. He bought the stock in February during the Atlas trading run-up. That's when he comes in. I was there. And he buys, and then he spends the next 4 months trying to pump up the stock and posting like 5 times a day.
Oh, geez.
And come to find out, like, and then this other guy posted something which really was irrelevant. It was the lien on the past lien on the property, essentially. But liens against oil properties or small liens happen all the time. You can search McCabe's shell companies. They happen all the time. And it's normal, you know, usually they work out 99% of the time. Anyhow, he winds up selling all of his stock, and then the next day it runs up, or later that day it runs up.
Wow.
Mr. I'm holding, and then like we learned that and then he took a short position, and then he disappeared.
Wow.
But Right Brain Trader would always talk to Midland Texas Oil Guy. That's how I knew of Right Brain Trader to begin with. So that's a little story about Midland Texas Oil Guy. You remember Midland Texas Oil Guy, Chris?
We had
We
had a comment up here. What was it? It was a person saying, what brokerage did he tell me you used to purchase MMTLP again?
Me? I use E-Trade.
Yes, so this person here, that's what I thought you said. I don't want to butcher the name, but Michael here says, can I buy MMTLP? It was a little bit back up at 856. It says, can I buy MMTLP on E-Trade? I have 5,000 shares of MMTLP. So your answer to that question is yes.
Yes.
Roller
you do have to pay commission fee, though.
You pay the commission
fee. It's $5 per trade.
Nice. So that's awesome. We got an answer for him.
Yep, yeah, but yeah, you can buy it. It's like any other OTC on E-Trade. Yeah, Midland, yeah, you're right, Chris. Midland Texas Oil Guy had his paid bear list. Like, if he had any questions or criticisms or valid, like, suspicions, or it's like, is this true? You know, he'd put you on his paid bear list.
All right, so I pinned William's comment. He did my name, and I asked William to post in the link to the new Facebook group.
Okay.
William said he tried, but he don't know if it's showing. All right, our buddy here says, Michael said, thank you for responding. Yes, so just real quick to clarify on that, if anyone out there uses E-Trade, she has confirmed that you can buy MMTLP with the commission fee of $5. So that is great to know if you're looking to buy up.
Yes.
I think it's like $1.35 or something right now. Great opportunity to buy the preferred shares at such a cheap price.
Right, for sure. Yeah, so I also have JP Morgan, Matthew. I have JP Morgan for my non-OTC stuff. I use JP Morgan. JP Morgan's good in that they buy directly from the NASDAQ. They don't have, like dark pools or anything, but you can't day trade on JP Morgan. It's way too slow. For long swings, you can definitely trade on JP Morgan, but for day trading, it's way too slow.
Yeah. And
you don't have like the charts or anything on JP Morgan. It's just like a little blip. down here, you type it in, and it tells you the last price, and if it was an acquisition or a deposition, A or D, buy or sell. And then it just tells you the price and how many shares, and that's about it.
Here's a okay. Yeah, I'll let you take that one from Christopher. That's a pretty good question.
Yeah. So there's a big difference between MMTLP and MMAT. Consider them two separate stocks, really. Two separate stocks. So when Metamaterials merged with Torchlight, how the agreement went down is that if you had MMATF shares, you would get additional shares. And if you held Torchlight, you would get the preferred share, which was your coupon for the special dividend, essentially. And then you got one MMAT share. So instead of, two MMAT shares like the Meta people had, you had basically one share and then in Meta and then your coupon for your special dividend, your placeholder share. But of course, those shares, those preferred shares, which weren't trading, started trading on the OTC under a new ticker symbol, and thus, it's basically they're a separate entity at this point. I do not have a Quest trade, so I can't help you with the Quest trade. Sorry. Okay, so Sushi, the price of MMTLP, there's a multiplier. So there's 250 million shares of Oil Co. Let's drop those zeros. That's annoying. And 165 shares of MMTLP. And it works out to be 1.515. So for every MMTLPs you have 1.515 Oil Co's. How that works out is if you have, say you have the dividends 35, like that's the number I've been saying, $35. So one MMTLP dividend will yield you $35, but since there's an Oil Co. discrepancy, if the shares are still, say, 250 million, that $35 becomes 23, but you're getting more shares, if that makes sense. Multiply 23 by 1.515 and you have about $35. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I love your videos when you was breaking down the dividend and all the explanations behind it. I think it was very helpful to put. It's almost like reminds me of like a math homework where they say,
well, that's teacher and me.
Yeah, it's like, here's the question, what is the answer? But you must show your work of how you got that answer. That is you.
Right, that's what I'm
doing. You show the work of how you got to the $35 dividend. I love it.
I did. Thank you. Yeah. So the $35 dividend. I mean, I can do this in my sleep all day at this point. So the $35 dividend is based off of the mean of 3. This is the statistical number with the most weight on it. Is 3.1 billion barrels. That's the statistical number that has the most weight out of everything matched up. And then $70 a barrel of oil minus cost of goods sold 25. You're left with $45. Now you're going to multiply that by 12 because 12 to 18%. That's how you evaluate oil in the ground. This I can't do off the top of my head. Sorry. 45 times 0.12. So you get $5.4. But Torchlight's revenue interest in this property is 49%. So you got to multiply that by 49%. Whoops. 49. And you get $2.646 is how much they pay for. I'm pointing at the wrong camera. Is how much they pay for how much they get or pay for every barrel oil in the ground. That's how much Torchlight will get. When you sell oil that's in the ground, still the rights to that oil, and you multiply this by 3.1 billion barrels of oil, you get $8.2 billion, and you multiply that by the divide that by the outstanding shares of 165 million. Wait, that's too high. Taxes.
Uncle Sam.
No, Uncle Sam. Okay, so here's the thing, Terry. If it's paid in stock, if you get a stock sale, there's no corporate taxes taken on this dividend, by the way. There's no corporate taxes taken on dividend. They just take out the 10% holdback. But we need corporate taxes. I'll work with cash. So 8.2 minus the corporate tax rate of 21% and the 10% holdbacks, that's 31%. So we subtract 31%. So we multiply it by, 69%. Okay, so then you have 5.658 billion, and now you divide that by 165 million. Make sure to move that decimal point over. And that's 34.29. So about $35 right there. That's how I've been doing it. Hope that's right. I did it. Hold on. 8.2 times 0.69 divided by. Yep, 34.29. I forgot to write in the 4, but that's how I do it. So that's the formula. But if it's a stock swap like Dr. Pepper, but no cash, or cash and shares, you will get reduced tax. But if it's all stocks in the buying companies, there won't be any corporate taxes taken out. That's the non-taxable event, because John Berta and Greg McCabe have millions of shares, and corporate tax will take a lot of their monies.
Here's a good point. I just randomly thought about this. Back to that, I had someone here do a special request, so I'm going to do it just for them.
Okay.
We got, where was it at? Christopher Hackett said, Terry, he wanted me to say, buy the dip. So here is the plan. Of course, if we get a dividend while MetaMaterials is still here in the $3 range, that is the plan. That was George's. Now, George's plan wasn't the stock to go down to in the $2s and $3. That's just the market.
Right.
The market's predicting that. George was hoping that we get the dividend, we buy back MMAT.
Yes.
The only thing that's going to work out in our favor, the stock is a lot lower, so our money's going to get us more shares.
Right.
That's the point. But here's the other part I wanted to make. To the person that asked, when do I sell MMTLP? I just thought about this. If they announce the dividend, you can't sell because it goes off the market once it's announced. It's like done, right? Like you can't, it's no longer tradable.
Right. Or they might take it off the market and then they'll announce the dividend.
Yeah.
And then people are really screwed.
Yeah. So it's like,
they might do that.
I was thinking about that. Like, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, hold on a second. Once they announce it or it just disappears, if it disappears, we know the announcement's coming very soon. But yeah, if they announce the divvy, from my understanding, once that's announced, it's supposed to be taken off the market as tradable, shares anymore. It's not tradable. Yeah. So there is no point of selling. There's no option of selling once it's announced.
Right. I agree. And that'll probably happen sometime after those options expire, because you can't take them off the market until those options expire. Oil Co will spike MMAT because people are going to reinvest that money. People are going to reinvest that money in MMAT. Okay, so Gil Wasserman. Oh, Gil. Okay, Wasserman. You're German. Your name is Waterman. Okay, Gil Waterman. That's your name in German. It's Waterman. Gil Wasserman. So it's non-taxable for you too if you don't sell your shares. If you get paid dividends in all shares and you don't sell the shares, you're not taxed. You weren't taxed when your Torchlight shares got converted to MMAT shares. You weren't taxed on that. Same thing. When you get the dividend, if you get it in shares of an oil company, you're not taxed as long as you don't sell. So that's how it can also be non-taxable for you too. And that's what John Bird and Greg McCabe and everybody at Lance Cook. That's what they were all hoping for at Torchlight to sell this. And that's why they took so long to sell it. It wasn't because there wasn't any buyers. It was because they were waiting for that non-taxable sale. And then COVID, oil went down. All the oil stocks went down. You know, you're not going to be buying back shares and stuff if you're hemorrhaging money, right? So now we're at a peak time again where oil companies are buying back those shares because they issue dividend. Dividend can't be too large. It'll drop the stock. So to keep the stock price stable, oil companies do a buyback. They buy back all the shares, but they can reissue those shares without creating dilution to exchange for, you know, the Oro Grande, stake in the Oro Grande. So I hope this answers your question. You'll have a choice to make.
I was just answering a question in the chat there from our buddy Wazir. But if we don't sell the shares to get the money, how do we reinvest more in MMT? And I commented back saying, so if
choice.
Yeah, they're going to basically deposit that dividend. Say they announce a $20 dividend. Yeah. That's just for speculation. They announce a $20 dividend. That $20 will just get deposited right into your brokerage like a regular dividend. So that's how then your shares will just disappear. Yes. So they're going to give you the cash, then your MMTLP will go bye-bye. Now you got cash setting in your buying power. That's where you go and buy MMAT with your buying power.
Exactly. Oh, we already talked about gallium. Harry Hazeltine. We already talked about the gallium.
Yeah, we did, William. We did talk about that.
Yeah, there's evidence that there is gallium there because there's a mineral called rhyolite that's there. As much as Round Top Mountain, no. And Oro Grande, while it's still in the same county, it's about 140 miles as the crow flies to get to the gallium. Well, thank you, Hal.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, buddy.
Okay, so we don't. So the land's being sold. You won't, or people always get on to me when I say land being sold. By the way, I'm not talking about the oil rights being sold on this property. So mineral rights and land sales are like two separate events in America, and in Texas especially. If you buy property, there's a good chance it's not going to come with any mineral rights on it. Mm-hmm. So if somebody strikes oil on your property or next to your property, whoever has that mineral rights gets the money and you get nada. But for the sake of easiness and translating well, I will say they'll sell the land. But what I'm always referring to, by the way, is their mineral rights. That's what you're selling is the mineral rights to this oil. We won't know that it's sold until they announce it, believe it or not. And it was the same way with Shell and ConocoPhillips. There was no record until they announced it, then the records came up. So oil is very hush-hush NDA.
Want to give a special shout out to Jose. Says the best live collaboration right here. Thank you for your kind words, my friend. We appreciate it. We wanted to do this because we both talked about MMTLP. We both talked about special dividend. We both love metamaterials. And it's ironic enough that we had this plan for tonight. And the day before, a short report comes out. And we're like, oh, great. A short report comes out. But ironic enough, the stock rallies after the short report. So it's kind of like it's meant to be.
I talked about that and I said, well, metamaterials, here's the thing. Most people who are invested in metamaterials at this point have been in metamaterials long enough and know well about the company and what the company is coming up on. CEI's was a bit different because CEI, a lot of the people who were in that company had no idea what they just said, oh, this guy who has a lot of followers said to buy the stock. I will buy the stock. Thank you, Hal.
Thank you, Hal. Appreciate it.
When the short report came on CEI, a lot of people sold right then and there, saying, "Oh, wait, what? That they're behind on their financials. This, like I said, they'll find whatever in the company." Whereas metamaterials, everybody knew what was on the company. There was pretty much like no surprise.
And
I
it's
think
like
that's
you
why the
got to
stock
remember
rallied.
too, like I guess in the short report and they talked about revenues. It's like first off, we've only been on a stock market like 6 months.
Right.
we're just getting like started. There isn't going to be any revenues in a startup growth company. It's going to
Well,
take
especially
time to get the growth and the revenues. But we got that article came out today where we got that I think it was the Japan deal,
yes.
the
Yeah,
Sucky
so we had 2
Sweet.
articles come out.
Yeah,
We
on the
had 2
Sucky
articles
Sweet,
come
it's
out.
like a 50 some $million deal up through 2026 or something like that.
Yeah, get the 5G antennas in the window. Well, thank you, Brant.
Appreciate it, Brant, man. Wazir says the short report was 100% hot caca.
I agree. It pretty much was. Well, thank you, Dallas.
Hey, Patel, thank you very much, man. We appreciate the support.
Wow, thank you, Patel. Oh, I just saw it come up. Thank you, Patel. My chat can be about a minute behind.
Oh, okay. I've been trying to keep up with the chat. When I let you do some explaining, I'll kind of go in there and do a comment. I'll pin some people's comments so they get highlighted in the live stream chat. We've been having a very great interactive live stream. It's pretty nice. I think where was it at right here? Someone said, yeah, Dallas said, you guys are the king and queen of MMTLP. I love your videos and the best video on YouTube, hands down. Man, that is such a great comment. Thank you, man. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's honestly like people like that and the support we've got from, I mean, coming on here daily, talking about a company we believe in, and every day it just goes down 3%. It goes down 5%. You know, over the month it's down, I don't know how much it is. It's down a lot.
Right.
But
well, I tell you what, go on.
There's still people that believe in it like we do, and they're here to support us. And now I'm hoping that we're on that curve to go back up. You know, so I'm hoping now we can be on the rally back up, and we all can reap the benefits of what's going to happen in these next few months with this special dividend. You know, people's like, we gotta take a cruise, Terry. We gotta take, because I talked about my cruise. I went back on there in October and November. Me and my wife went on a cruise out of Florida, and everyone's like, oh man, we need to take a meta cruise, you know. So everyone's like, you need to take a meta cruise. I was like, if we get $35 a share for preferred share, it's not going to be a problem to take a cruise. That's for sure. And I'm still wondering. Man, yeah. I think I remember a while back. I want to say George was talking about inviting people up to the facility once it's finished.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's all going to work. I know Smokey said when he went to that conference that MetaMaterials has, you do have to be vaccinated. I mean, I'm vaccinated, so that's not a problem.
Right.
That's a very sensitive subject for people. Jeannie, thank you very much, man. Jenny. We appreciate it. That's awesome. But I'm hoping if this new facility opens, George will pick out some YouTubers to come up there. Hopefully us.
That'd be cool.
Hopefully us, Sterling, Smokey, Allie. We all could go up there, meet each other, go over to Meta facility with George. I'm hoping all this comes into fruition here over the next 6 months to a year, and it'll be a great time for sure.
Right. No, that'd be cool. Yeah, if I could go up, I would wear a bird costume up there. If I could, I'd walk around there in a bird costume with like a microphone and like a camera and like talk to people in the bird suit, and they'd be like, "What the heck?" It'd be great.
I love it.
Okay, so what? Okay, that's a good question. We haven't asked either or. Terry, would you rather want cash or stock? If you had a dividend choose, like cash or stock in oil companies, what would you want?
My preference would be a little both.
Sure.
I mean, like we said with the Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, the Dr. Pepper.
I
Yeah,
mean, let's
cash
say we
in
have a
stock.
$35 dividend. Let's just say that's what it's equaled out to be. So I'd be okay with getting $10 to $20 in cash.
Sure.
And the rest in stock. Only because I'm looking to start a dividend only portfolio.
Right.
And
for sure.
Those companies have always done pretty good over time. So they always pay great dividends. So for me, a little bit of cash, a little bit of stock's a good deal.
Especially with that multiple dividend that Conoco is paying.
Yes. And I think I told you before, of course, I'd be super happy with all cash dividend as well.
Right.
Now,
for sure.
I would be scared if it was an all stock dividend. Now, unless it was a stock that you could just sell right away. I don't think people have a problem with that, because I think as long as people have the option to get cash right away, I think we'll be okay. But if it becomes something that we can't cash out, it may cause a little trouble, because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people, you know, everyone has their financial situation. J Cran, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So I was just saying, like, a lot of people's, you know, their portfolios are down 30-40%. They need cash.
Sure.
They want cash right now. That's what they want. So as long as they can get a stock they can sell, that'd be okay. Because I don't want to see people live. A lot of people saying, you know, about George and he's not living up to his words. Well, George hasn't announced anything yet on the divvy, so there's nothing you can say about the dividend and what George has said.
Right, except that it's going into Oilco next year. You know, first quarter next year, which can be January, right? Once those options expire. But after that, we'll see. John Berta says it's been easy for him, and wait a few weeks and see.
Yeah, he did. I want to address our buddy Wazir. He says all stock would be a slap in the face to lots of people. Here's what I want to say on that. If it is an all stock, let's just say it is Conoco. You get all stock in ConocoPhillips. Once that stock hits your portfolio, ConocoPhillips is a stock you can just sell it the same day. So it's not like, if it's a stock that you cannot sell, that's not tradable, I can see where that would be a slap in your face.
Right.
But if it's an oil company or a company that buys it, that's a tradable NASDAQ company, then it's just the same as cash if you're getting stock versus cash. So I just want to point that out there, that if it would be one of the big dogs that's tradable on the NASDAQ, you just get the shares in your account and you just sell it for that market price.
Exactly. Okay, I do not wear the bird suit while feeding the chickens, actually. I do not, because I don't want to get this to get dirty, and that can be dirty and dusty feeding the chickens. So I don't wear it, sadly. How long will we suffer from this manipulation? The divvy is announced in April. Okay, well, hopefully it won't take until April. Hopefully it's not going to take until April, because I think George will get sad too.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think then he'll start to get sad or frustrated.
In my opinion, I think like you said, after these January 21st options expire,
it'll go quick.
I think it'll go quick.
Yeah. I agree. No, dividend is not postponed. We're talking what if. Dividend is not postponed until April. We're just talking what if.
Yeah. Dallas here said, is December 28th still a thing?
I personally don't think it is. They might announce the drilling clause then.
That's what I think too.
It's because those options are still trading. You can't really give any dividends or anything, especially if it's stock and oil companies. You can't do that with those preferred share dividends hanging around. Yeah,
because those options would just go to the moon.
Right. Also with the value attached. Okay, so here's what it goes if it's a stock sale. This is where things get tricky. And why I think Oilco is going to be private and not a tradable spinoff. It's going to be a private holdings company to get the dividend. One, when you get a spinoff company that gets shorted to heck and back, that gets short. I've said in previous videos actually on like when you do a spinoff, and a guy wrote an article on how he shorts the spinoffs and how you make big bucks. Also, if MMTLP is trading and there's a value to it,
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you. All of a sudden, when you get paid in shares of stock in the buying company, it doesn't become a non-taxable event anymore. It becomes what's called a redemption stock, which is taxed at capital gains rate, and you don't want that. So they have to wait until those options expire. Then it's going to go into Oilco, which will have, like originally planned, a $0 value and not be tradable, because then it's an actual stock sale and not, you know, a redemption, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You almost got a heart attack when, oh no, I'm glad you're still here with us and you didn't get a heart attack, DH.
Yeah, you just have to remember these shorts do this all the time to companies. They do this all the time to multiple companies. I'm going to say the other YouTuber, Moon Market.
Moon Market.
Moon Market. Believe it or not, I talked about this in my video the other night. Moon Market is the YouTuber where I heard about Torch.
Whoa!
He's the one I watched a video on because I was learning about the OTC markets. So I watched a lot of Moon Market's videos. He's a great guy. He does excellent OTC market videos. That's how I heard about ILIS. I got in ILIS early off of his stuff. I got in all these other OTC companies early off of his recommendations. I watched his videos back on the Torch days. And that's how I heard about the Torch. I started covering Torch. I got very interested in the Torch Meta merger. I started educating myself on it, and I've been following it hardcore ever since.
Gotcha. Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Hal.
Yeah, thank you both. Appreciate it. We appreciate the support. Yes, Moon Market was mad at the shorts. At the end of his video, he said that he agrees that the short report is a bunch of BS. He also stated that the, I want to say it was, I'm drawing a blank of the stock they shorted, but they put out a short report. It was the one before that. They put out a short report on the stock.
Another one.
It was trading at $50. They put out the short report, and the stock now is currently at $200. So the stock 4x'd since they
was it 5? No, 5?
I want to say I was thinking it wasn't QuantumScape. It was in his video. Thank you again, Hal. We appreciate it. Yes, Qualcomm. Yes, Kevin commented. Yes, it was Qualcomm. Qualcomm was trading at $50. They put out the short report. Qualcomm went up to $200. So, is there a possibility that MMAT could get a 4x as well? Could we see $12? We're trading at $3 right now. Could we get the $10, $12 off this short report? With this market rally and a Santa Claus rally, it's possible. I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight, but over time as months go, we got the dividend news happening. There's a lot of positive stuff leading up into Christmas, into the divvy for January, in my opinion. They did one on 5 and below as well. I didn't see on the 5 and below, but yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was Qualcomm when that person commented that. But they did so many short reports. They are ranked almost at was it Kerrisdale? They're at the very end of there's 8,000 people, and they're 7,990 some people towards the end. So they're the back of the class of their short reports.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Santa Claus rally. Oh, man.
I know we've been on here a while, haven't we? How long have we been on here?
Yeah, an hour. Or just under an hour. Only an hour? Oh, well, it's late for me, but...
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see, if we were playing What Ifs, have you looked into the possibility of Texas? Yes. Okay, Nick. Yeah, I talked about TPL in my MMTLP investigation 4 video. TPL did do a $500 million share buyback, but for TPL, that's nothing since their shares are over $1,000 a pop.
Oh, wow.
But they did do a share buyback. TPL is Texas's biggest private landholder. That's a strong possibility TPL could buy it. Also, if TPL buys it, they might sit on it for 10 years.
I want to say thank you, Donald, for the super chat. He says, keep it up, guys.
Oh, thank
awesome,
you, Donald.
DD.
I just came up.
George might be watching. What is George's YouTube name? We need George's YouTube channel. What's his YouTube username?
But if TPL is a strong possibility they could buy it. You know, if they buy it, they might sit on it for 10 years. And it's like, well, who cares at that point? You know, whatever. You buy it, you can do whatever you want with it. Win George.
Wazir says you need a nap.
I do. I'm starting to get tired, but I've been up for a while now.
Yeah. All right, we've been on here an hour. I think we can call it an end of the. Let you get some sleep. We got to keep fresh. We got 2 more days of trading this week. We'll see what the market brings us.
Right. I think the market will be a lot better tomorrow because now we got that Fed meeting behind us. I think it'll be a lot better tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe after the holidays we can see about getting together again. Maybe sometime in January.
Oh,
maybe we'll have some more. Maybe we'll have some more news to talk about in the stream by then.
Exactly. Like if there's the drilling clause is updated, then we get closer to those options for sure.
Maybe we can try to see if we can get maybe Smokey and Sterling to do a stream together and have them two do one together so they can communicate with the fans as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. Okay, yeah. Okay, we've been here for almost 2 hours. I guess it was after 7:30 your time.
Yeah.
So 6:30. Yeah, almost 2 hours.
It'll be about 2 hours. Hey, but at least we know Microsoft Teams lets you go as long as you want.
That's what I like, Microsoft Teams. Yeah. That's why I like the Teams. Like I said, I talked with my dad for 3 hours on here once on the Teams. So yeah, I'm all about these Teams.
Yes. All right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll call it an end of the stream. We want to say thank you to everyone that has watched. Thank you everyone who sent super chat. It helps out a lot. And we will catch you all in the next video. Make sure you go subscribe to Roller Pigeon. Go to her YouTube channel. Go check her out. Her DD is top notch. If you have any concerns about the divvy, she will change you on your concerns about the divvy.
Yes.
All right, guys. So we'll call it an end of this. Thank you all again. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Birth the dip. All right. Bye.
Peace.